Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. I am Judith, the TB. It's time for News Central now, and here are the top stories at this hour. Confusion as Muslims celebrate Eid on different days. People's Democratic Party accuses Rivers sole administrator of dismantling governance structures put in place by suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Streets empty, shops closed as Zimbabweans protest President Emerson Mnangagwa's government policies. We have the details shortly. Still in the mood of Eid al-Fitr, Muslims continue to gather at various Eid prayer grounds to offer prayers of thanksgiving for the completion of the Ramadan fasting. News Central's correspondent Igbalani Omoni was at the Makas Islamic Center where the Eid prayers were observed.
We're here at the Marcus Mosque in Agege, and as you can see behind me, thousands of Muslims are gathered here to observe the Eid prayers. According to the Sultan of Sokoto, the one was sighted on Sunday, the 30th, marking the end of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting.
Several countries also announced Sunday as Eid al-Fitr, including United Arab Emirates, Kuwait and Qatar, which made major Muslims across the country observe the Eid prayers on Sunday. Muslims at the Arabic and Islamic Training Center in Marcus Agege, Lagos, however, otherwise.
You can see today in Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, Iran, many Muslim countries criticize Saudi Arabia on their decision for declaring yesterday as Eid Mubarak. We are not fighting Sultan of Sokoto of taking his decision for yesterday, end of Ramadan. But Sultan of Sokoto is not an alpha like Mudir Markas. It's quite different. It's political appointment, I can say it rightly.
United States of America, I know Kirun, àwọn díẹ̀ tó kírun lánàá, but àwọn èèyàn wa wọn kì í farabalẹ̀. Wọ́n bá ti gbọ́ pé àwọn róṣù Saudi, àwọn náà gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe tiwa ń bí, agbọ́dọ̀ róṣù tiwa ń bí báyìí kó tó di pé ní a sọ pé àwẹ̀ tán, and then àwẹ̀ ò tí ì pé 30.
The Eid prayer, also known as Salat al-Eid, is a special congregational prayer performed to mark the occasion.
So we started the Ramadan with Bismillah, and we thank God that we are ending the Ramadan with joy and happiness.
This year is better than last year, and it will continue to be more better and better and better.
Noting that every year the date of Eid changes and there is confusion as to proper date and celebration time till the moon sighting takes place, Muslims faithful call for unity.
Salat is important after Ramadan and try to give everyone of zakat.
Wọ́n dẹ̀ ń pe gbogbo Mùsùlùmí ká jẹ́ ọ̀kan náà, ká pa ọ̀pọ̀ ká jẹ́ ọ̀kan, ká má ṣe yẹ́lẹyẹ̀lẹ kò dáa bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìyẹn náà ni ó fi jẹ́ kí Islam tún máa lọ síwájú.
For now, these faithful are happy to share these moments with their loved ones as they strengthen bonds with family, friends and the community. In Lagos for News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
In the meantime, as Muslims in Edo State join their counterparts across the world to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, marking the successful completion of the holy month of Ramadan, Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has extended his felicitations to the Muslim community in the state. The governor, represented by his deputy Dennis Idahosa, who spoke at Government House, Benin City, when he received the Muslim community led by the chief imam of Benin Central Mosque, Sheikh Abdul Fattah Ena Bulele, on a courtesy visit. Now, Governor Okpebholo urged Muslims to sustain the lessons and virtues learned during the Ramadan, including compassion, tolerance and unity, and to continue to live in peace and harmony with their fellow citizens of all faiths.
That you have fasted for 29 days, and the lessons learned during the fasting and prayers, please, let's continue to tolerate one another. And let there be peace and harmony in Edo State. Having said that, I also want to condemn strongly the actions of our brothers in Uromi. The state governor have instructed all the security agencies to ensure that those that were involved are brought to book. And let me also beg that you will continue to pray for those that lost their life in that process.
Governor demonstrated uncommon leadership in response to what happened in Uromi on Thursday, the 27th of March 2025. He demonstrated uncommon leadership by interacting with the community leaders, summoning all the service chiefs.
Islam is a religion of peaceful coexistence. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to stand here today to condemn what happened at Uromi. We, the government of Edo State, we are not happy at all over what happened at Uromi.
Your Excellency, sir, on behalf of the Muslim community in the state, I congratulate your administration for all the achievements recorded so far in the last 140 days. Today is making the 140 days of the administration of government. One of your greatest achievements in the last 140 days in government, which the people have acknowledged, is the political will which you have enacted in the business of governance. When you look at what happened in Uromi recently, so a few days ago, you know, it is barbaric behavior. It is not in our character to kill human beings and burn them. When we look at the area of jungle justice, why must people get up and take laws into their hands?
Away from Eid celebrations, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu and accused his sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibom Ibas, of dismantling governance structures put in place by Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The party also described the immediate past head of service of the state, Dr. George Nwiki, as a serial betrayer, alleging that he has become a tool for Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to spread false information against Fubara and his team. The chairman of the PDP in the state, Neme War, spoke in Port Harcourt while reacting to allegations made by the former head of service, George Nwike, against Fubara, PDP, and Nigeria Labour and the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. In the meantime, the coalition of conscientious citizens has asked Ibok Ita Ibas, the sole administrator of Rivers, to declare his assets. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, Gabriel Naji, the group's executive director, said failure by the sole administrator to declare his assets could lead to self-enrichment. Naji noted that it was controversial for Ibas to primarily suspend Fubara's political appointees who are supposed to work with him. He said the coalition's demand is in line with Section 185(1) of the Constitution. Naji said Ibas has 7 days to publicly declare his assets, adding that the coalition will take legal action against him if he failed to do so. Let's also tell you that Edison Ehi, the chief of staff to suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, has refuted allegations that he was involved in the burning of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex on October 29th of 2023. Ehi said he was instructed he has instructed his lawyers, to initiate a criminal libel suit against Nwike for his false claims. Nwike claimed that Governor Fubara and Ehi masterminded the fire, but Ehi dismissed the accusation as false. Ehi said the Speaker of the Assembly, Martin Zamawale, should be questioned about the fire in the State Assembly complex in October of 2023, alleging that the fire started on an evening shortly after security officials allowed the Speaker's convoy into the complex. And now to discuss this, we're joined by President Ijaw Diaspora Council of the USA, Professor Mondi Gold. Professor Gold, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this well. Let's just get started, shall we? How impactful do you think the state of emergency has been since it's been fully implemented?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for having me today. It is a pleasure to be here to discuss issues concerning the overall stability, not only in Rivers State, but in Nigeria. I want to submit to you that the declaration of the state of emergency is unconstitutional, it is undemocratic, and is unacceptable to the people of Rivers State, to the people of the John Nation, and to the Federal Republic, all well-meaning people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The idea of declaring the state of emergency is to minimize chaos. And the evidence shows that the chaos in Rivers State, to the extent that a state of declaration should be in place, is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. We have a situation on ground or a conflict that the main culprit, the main instigator, Wike, is known. And so who is an appointee of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it's as simple as that, call Wike to order. Suspending the governor of Rivers State without commensurate disciplinary actions against Wike is unfair to the governor. Not only that, you have suspended a sitting governor, democratically elected sitting governor, and turn around and suspend the legislature, which apparently I'm not a lawyer, but the lawyers have told us it is totally unconstitutional. Now, not only that, you have brought in a sole administrator whose appointment was not even approved by the parliamentarians. And there is no point jumping the gun. The president did not follow due process. He violated the Constitution, and I support other well-meaning Nigerians in actually calling for his impeachment because it's totally unnecessary. What he has done in Rivers State, as a matter of fact, he has created more conflict in Rivers State. We have more pressing challenges or issues in Nigeria, and it's not necessary to say, by the way, he is the chief security officer in Nigeria. So you cannot have said that an oil pipeline has been blown, and without mandating or directing the security agencies to engage in effective investigation. So the evidence, again, is clear that the president's actions were totally motivated. It is an agenda for his political interest. And so those of us in the diaspora who are projecting the positive image of Nigeria are of the opinion that the president recalled the governor of Rivers State without further delay. And not only that, the honorable minister of the Federal Capital Authority, Honorable Wike, should be disciplined. He's sending the wrong message, and we have come a long way. So at this point in our democratic dispensation, to have a military style of governance, for me, it is an open invitation to the military to come back, and we don't like it.
What are the long-term consequences do you foresee if the state of emergency is extended beyond its current term?
There will be major crisis in Rivers State. Let us all work together to minimize any form of protracted conflict in Rivers State. We have better things to do. We want to make sure that Rivers State is developed. And when individuals are preoccupied with personal interest and what they can get from the federation account or from internally generated revenue as portrayed by Wike, it's not fair. So we believe that if as a matter of fact, we are calling on the president to quickly, he's free to call to bring the governor back, because it is a situation where Wike has been seen as somebody being empowered by the president, and it's totally unfair. We need to make sure that Nigeria, the Lion of Africa, the hope of the Black nation, is not subjected to such undemocratic practices.
At this point, I have to ask, do you think that the state of emergency might send a precedent for similar, measures in other troubled states of Nigeria? And I have to put this because There's now this comments. There's now the suspension of the appointees, political appointees, by the suspended governor. That was done by the sole administrator. There's also the twists and turns going on the political scene there in Rivers State, following the former head of services comments and the back and forth. What do you think what precedence has this set for Nigeria?
Again, I said earlier on, it's a retrogressive action. The president's decisions are uncalled for, is regrettable, and it is sending us backward to an era that was so problematic as it relates to the overall development of Nigeria. And so for the sole administrator to unilaterally dismantle an existing political structure of the governor, I don't think it was his responsibility to now turn around and the appointees, to terminate the appointments of the appointees of the governor. And that is creating more division in Rivers State. It's creating more confusion in Rivers State. Now, we have situations in Edo State today. We have situations in the Northeast and the Northwest, Bauchi State, and other parts of the Federation. And it is not the duty of the president to continue to be encouraged to declare state of emergency in all these areas. There are better ways to resolve our crisis. There are better ways to make sure that inclusive dialogue is encouraged to ensure sustainable peace in Nigeria. The declaration of age, as I said earlier on, is a military style. We don't declare state of emergency on the basis of personal interest or to project the image or the interest of an individual. In this case, it's Wike. And so the president must do whatever that is necessary to let the Nigerians know that Wike is not above the law. The president must make sure that the rule of law is upheld. We do not want a situation where there is continuous legal uncertainty in Nigeria. We do not want a situation where there is legal inequality in Nigeria. The judiciary's independence must be sustained. And these are things that are fundamental to the overall peace and stability of Nigeria, of which the president has looked the other way.
Professor Gold, I must say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us to give us your insight on this conversation. Once again, thank you, Professor Mondi Gold, joining us live from New York, USA, giving his own piece, his own insight on the state of emergency ruling on Rivers State. Let's go on a short break, shall we? When we return, we switch to Lagos State as the Assembly Speaker for the state, Mudashiru Obasa, continues legal battle against former Speaker Mojisola Miranda and other lawmakers. We have the details just after the break. Stay with us. Farmers, you're welcome back. Farmers in Oyingbo, local government area of Rivers State, have lamented the encroachment and destruction of their farms by suspected herdsmen, rendering their farmlands increasingly inaccessible due to recurring attacks. While calling on the federal government to intervene, they warned that Nigeria's food crisis will continue to deteriorate unless farmers are protected from attacks. News Central's correspondent Biola Festus was at the farm to speak to the farmers.
Each till of the soil and each seed planted is back-breaking work, with every step marked by the drop of a sweat. Farmers in Izuoma community in Oyigbo local government area of Rivers State toil tirelessly throughout the year, only to harvest nothing, as their crops are repeatedly destroyed by suspected herdsmen. According to them, armed herdsmen have found their farmlands suitable for grazing and their crops food for the cattle.
Now God go save us, so we dey pray, we dey beg government, make them come, come rescue us, help us for food and herdsmen, They no dey gree us to rest, they no dey gree us to eat. When we don't farm like this, keep them go come chop. Then when we talk, then go use gun, they pursue us. Then go tell us say that the country na their own, the land say na their land.
So they carry the nama buruburu, more than thousands of it. So they meet me by unexpected in the farm there. I know even I just they look whether na bush them they carry they come pursue the nama, they come surround me there. So I carry only my phone, carry my clothes. I run away.
Upon our arrival at the hundreds of acres farm, the suspected herders were nowhere to be seen, but the unmistaken trails of cattle footprints and droppings told a clear story. Meanwhile, harvest came early, not because the fields were ready, but for the fears that the produce would be devoured by cows.
Now, madam, finish me, oh, there's a man no chop. I mean, this is a woman be comfortable. Now, when I come to use them. I forgot to tell you, I go to another person. This is thing I don't come out to make for center. After woman be come out this cassava like this, leave her like this, come out. Come out, oh yeah, finish yet, they go that side. Oh, Jesus. Only God now go save us from this situation like this. What's me, I go chop with my children, now they talk.
In Nigeria, open grazing prohibition laws are enacted at the state level, granting individual states the autonomy to either permit or ban open grazing within their territories. In Rivers State, the anti-open grazing law was enacted in 2021, clearly stating that open grazing is not allowed anywhere within the state. Nevertheless, the farmers say these egregious acts are committed with impunity.
If you are not agree, make we talk to them. If you still, the one we talk to them, and they should go on that Tuesday. I think maybe they don't shoot us, finish. I don't know, say I go still there alive in the land of the living. I go save me. Mr. President, help us, may we feed our children. Nigeria hard. They say make we farm. Now we don't enter farm. Fulani herdsmen no gree make we bring out our cassava, our crops.
Mine of us, so because no one nama board there now. Before my man that guy through a buffet de ebe lazia. Bamhunu ngago futa de ebe. Osa bam loko. Ya bam ebe pa.
In the last 2 years, these farmers have not had harvests commensurate to what they have sown. Furthermore, their men have become vulnerable to violent attacks, while the women have been subjected to physical assaults. As a result, women have been forced to wear multiple layers of clothing to the farm, despite Nigeria's never wintry climate.
You will be woman. See us I there now, wear trousers, wear tights, and wear other ones inside. Because if in the see only you inside bush, then go rape you. Now see what they happen inside bush now. So now make if we they go, we they keep ourselves well. He go dead normally and he go die inside bush. Make any Fulani or any mumu come near you. Now make women now with their vest.
Witnessing our parents' struggles, this teenage aspiring farmer is beginning to question the future of agriculture in Nigeria.
I love farming because I normally help my mom in farming. These things now these people are doing, me myself, I don't know what to do because I said in future I want to be a farmer, like I want to invest in farming, but because of this thing now they are doing, I don't know what else to do.
Izuoma farmers typically sell their produce at the Oyigbo main market, one of the most affordable markets in Rivers State. However, recent attacks on farmers have made prices soar.
I buy farm this year, 30,000. Then I cut the farm, 25,000, one plot. Then digging, the people where they dig them 35,000. I buy okra, 1 cup of okra is 10,000. Then stand, I don't buy almost 40,000 naira stand. As other, if I stand up and I go see, say I no get leg. But due to how Nigeria dey now, I dey manage myself. After all these things, Fulani people will enter. They will enter, they will beg for water, we will give them. After you don't go back, they will come and finish everything.
The chairman of the Oyigbo Farmers Association attributes the recent surge in attacks by suspected herdsmen to the prevailing political instability in the state.
They started on 2023. When the information came, we reported to the area command, the DP of our farm, Commissioner of Police, and they wrote a letter to governor. The governor ordered them to invade the bush and chase them away. Reaching 2024, they came back again. Governor speak on air, on social media, that he gave them 21 days to leave. They see that the governor who chased them, we cited a committee, 12-man committee, to look into the matter. It's not more there. They now use opportunities to come back to destroy, to do many activities in the area.
These farmers in Izuoma community in Oyigbo local government area of River State have now become like strangers in their own lands. Going to the farm has become a very heavy chore for them for the fear of being attacked by suspected Fulani herdsmen whom they said have been attacking them for the past 2 years. With the rising inflation rate in food prices in Nigeria, what then becomes the future of the country? In Izuoma, for News Central, Biola Festus.
Staying with security matters, the Kogi state government has placed a total ban on all forms of rallies or public gatherings that have the potential to disrupt public peace. The revelation was contained in a statement on Monday signed by the Commissioner of Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo. Fanwo noted that the government's decision was necessitated by intelligence reports indicating that certain individuals were plotting to infiltrate the state under the guise of rallies using fake security personnel to foment trouble, and compromise the security of law-abiding citizens. The commissioner also revealed that all fishing activities in Kogi local government area remain suspended following the death of 2 persons until peace is completely restored, as security operatives have been deployed to restore peace. Let's head to Lagos, where Speaker of the State Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, has continued his legal battle against former Speaker Mojisola Miranda and other lawmakers despite President Bola Tinubu's intervention. Obasa's counsel, Afolabi Fashinu, senior advocate of Nigeria, has confirmed that the case remains in court with judgment pending. This contradicts speculations that Obasa would withdraw the suit following Tinubu's efforts to resolve the leadership crisis. Justice Yetunde Pihiri, who has reserved judgment on the case, which challenges the legality of the January 13th proceedings that led to Obasa's removal. Meanwhile, the Lagos Assembly has remained inactive since March 3rd, when Obasa was reinstated. It has been an eventful week in Nigeria's House of Representatives with the passage of 113 constitutional amendment bills in just 72 hours. The amendment covers a wide range of issues, including devolution of power, electoral and judicial reforms, legislative adjustments, inclusive governance, and state and local government creation. However, while the House appears determined to push for key reforms, the sheer volume of legislation passed within such a short period, alongside the reversal of 2 key bills just a day after their passage, has raised concerns about their implications, urgency, and horse trading behind the scenes. Our correspondent Idong Joseph takes a closer look.
A bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to completely eliminate the discrimination against women in the nationality law by allowing for wives to be able to pass on their nationality to their foreign husbands and for related matters. Second reading.
The numbers are staggering. 110 constitutional amendment bills passing the second reading in a single week, a pace rarely seen in Nigeria's legislative history.
The ayes have it.
By comparison, constitutional amendments in previous years have moved at a much slower pace, often taking months or even years to gain traction.
If you're a draft person, you will know the rules in terms of the number of alterations or amendments to a legislation, to an act or the Constitution that you will propose that will require a repeal. When you have about 50% or more, a particular act that is seeking to be amended ought to be repealed. So the number of constitutional amendments being proposed is another evidence that this Constitution has been overworked and reworked. And it is time to start looking at how to make the Constitution really people's constitution.
Lawmakers argue that the speed reflects a commitment to closing long-standing constitutional gaps. But some analysts worry that due diligence and thorough deliberation may have taken a backseat to expediency.
Even members of the National Assembly who are in the opposition have appeared to be captured already. You know, the reality is that 3 days for 110 amendments, that is shocking.
The committee led by the Deputy Speaker have done an extensive job, extensive consultation, several workshops and seminars and meetings. That is the only aspect that will make people like us who are professionals in that space admit that an assembly can pass 100 and something bills in just a week.
One of the most controversial developments came when the House rescinded two key bills just a day after their passage. One seeking to remove constitutional immunity for the vice presidents, governors and their deputies, and another proposing death penalty for certain crimes. While the House defended the reversal as a move to allow more input from stakeholders, some suggest that external pressure may have influenced the decision.
When bills are passed, sometimes those bills are passed in a hurry. Sometimes you not even hear that those bills have ever come out at all. And when you finally hear that, oh, it's gone first and second reading and all that, the next thing you hear, somebody somewhere would have said, oh, that bill cannot go through. They will now find a way to either rescind their decision or to step it down.
There are mixed reactions as to whether the broad range of amendments truly reflects the aspirations of Nigerians.
What we have in Nigeria today is the government of the oligarchy, by the oligarchy, and for the oligarchy. We no longer have, what you and I would probably describe as democracy, which is the government of the people, by the people and for the people.
Gender equity issue, adequate representation of women, issue of citizenship for spouses of, Nigerian women, and the inheritance, a lot of things reflect,
With 110 bills now at the committee stage, policy analysts fear that many may face significant hurdles that could prevent them from advancing to the next phase of the constitutional review process.
The existential hurdle has been that the state assemblies will not give to thought on critical things that seem to alter the structure of governance or relationship.
As the House of Representatives prepares to consider more amendments to the nation's constitution, observers say the event of this week could shape future debates on legislative independence, executive influence, and the transparency of Nigeria's lawmaking process. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
You're watching news now on News Central Television. Coming up, Zimbabweans protest over government failures. We have the details just after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. Reports from Zimbabwe indicates that tension is building up with protesters on the streets. The tension is as Zimbabweans brace themselves for a significant protest against President Emmerson Mnangagwa's government set to take place. The protests are fueled by widespread frustration over governance failures and rampant corruption, which many argue have crippled the nation's economy. Leading the charge is Blessed Gazi, a former ZANU PF member and war veteran who is rallying citizens to voice their grievances. And now to discuss this further, to give us more insight on this developing issue or situation, where we have Alan Chipoyi. He's a Zimbabwean citizen and he's joining us live from Marera. Alan, many thanks for doing this with us. We appreciate you for coming on. How is the situation in Zimbabwe right now? We have seen videos circulating of empty streets and pockets of protesters in Harare that were dispersed by the police. But what's the latest?
Well, look, the situation as I speak right now is very tense, especially in the capital city, Harare. As we woke up in the morning, one could probably have seen out that there was no one in the Harare CBD, which is the capital city. There was a total stay away, businesses were closed, there was no activity at all in the capital. And late this afternoon, we have seen people started to gather in different towns, coming up in different numbers, showing out their frustration against the current regime that we have in Zimbabwe that is led by ZANU-PF. And this is a response to the call that has been made by Blessed Geza, a former ZANU-PF veteran.
And this call was made by war veteran Gaza, and his colleagues. But as of today, no one has heard from him, nor have we seen him on the streets. What do you make of this?
Well, look, it's not about Blessed Geza, because Blessed Geza is just one voice of millions of the Zimbabwean popularity that doesn't speak on their own. So the situation that we are seeing right now is just for someone who has just came out to express the feelings of the Zimbabwean people. So it's not about Blessed Geza, but it's about the struggles that the Zimbabwean population is currently facing in the Zimbabwean economy is misplaced by the ZANU-PF government.
So as someone on ground and also a citizen as well, what are the people saying? Is this going to be a one-off thing? Are they really ready to hit the streets?
Well, you see, the struggle that we have in Zimbabwe is whereby the Zimbabwean citizens are very clear about what they want. They no longer want the government that is led by ZANU-PF, which is led by its president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. All they want is a total setup of a government that speaks on behalf of itself, a government that doesn't shrink the democratic space that we have. So it's not about a one-day event, but it is going to be there until when this government has packed its bag and go.
All right. Alan, I must say thank you for taking out the time to give us just give us a bit of situational report on what's happening in Zimbabwe. Many thanks. Alan Chipoyi here is a Zimbabwean, just giving us a bit of insight on the proposed protest that happened today against the government in Zimbabwe. Rescue efforts in Mandalay, Myanmar, slowed as hopes of finding survivors dwindled following a powerful earthquake that killed at least 1,700 people in Myanmar and Thailand. The 7.7 magnitude quake struck on Friday with a 6.7 aftershock, causing widespread destruction, especially in central Myanmar. Temperatures exceeding 40 Celsius are hindering rescue teams, exhausting workers and accelerating body decomposition. For more on this, I'm joined by our international correspondent, Afia Hagen. Afia, tell us, what's the latest on this earthquake?
Well, yes, Myanmar's military has declared a week of national mourning following that earthquake, in which is thought more than 2,000 people have now died. Now, it's a 7.7 magnitude earthquake, an absolutely huge one that was felt 600 miles away in Thailand. Now, in Thailand, the situation is 19 people are known to have died. Thousands have been evacuated from cracked buildings. So lots of buildings across Bangkok have now got cracks in them that have probably been caused by the earthquake. Any small cracks they had beforehand are now being made worse. So lots of people being evacuated from high-rise offices, apartment blocks that they live in, and 75 construction workers are still trapped under this particular building that collapsed very, very easily. There were really shocking footage of that, which was doing the rounds on Friday. That was a government building that actually had been finished, and they were just doing the finishing touches to that building. Unfortunately, they're saying that there has been no signs of life for quite a few hours now. So 75 people still trapped under that collapsed rubble and turning more into a recovery effort for bodies at this point.
And I understand that it's very difficult to get out news from the country because it is under military rule and has been so since 2021. How have the junta reacted to the unfolding disaster?
That's right. Myanmar has been under this military junta rule since 2021. A spokesperson for a civilian militia group has said that heavy mortar shelling has been going on from the junta in 5 military convoys going through areas, and those areas that have been particularly affected by the earthquake. Airstrikes are also happening in the region by the military junta also. So they are ignoring calls from Singapore and from the United Nations to stop the shelling, to stop the bombing, to stop the action in the wake of this earthquake, which of course has caused widespread disaster all across the country, especially around the area, the epicenter of the earthquake, which is near the capital, Mandalay. Now, yesterday, the junta said that they would not grant visas for foreign reporters who have requested to cover the aftermath of the earthquake, citing an inability to guarantee their safety. Or is that a way just to cover up what could be going on in the country?
And in the wake of the earthquake, how have aid agencies responded, and what are the priorities now, I beg your pardon, given the temperatures?
Well, it's really difficult to get in the country, right? You can't get information out. It's also very difficult to get aid in. So the UN have appealed for $8 million to be able to go in and do the work that they need to do. Hospitals are damaged and, of course, are overwhelmed. The smell of dead bodies is thought to be permeating the streets, and those high temperatures that you mentioned. It's not even properly the hot season yet. That is still to come. But the Red Cross has said that medicine and clean water are the priorities at the moment, helping the injured and getting them professional care, which is proving difficult. The WHO have said that many hospitals have actually been damaged in the earthquake, and they're overwhelmed by the surge of casualties. At least 3 hospitals are completely out of service. 22 are partially damaged and not really able to function. And so it's partly about working with the junta in the country to make sure that the aid can get to the people it can get to, but also making sure that the amount of money is released to make sure we can get that aid in the first place. And like you mentioned, temperatures are rising. And so it's paramount that clean water, aid and shelter gets into the country as soon as possible.
All right. Afia, many thanks for that update. We appreciate you, Afia Hagen, our international correspondent, giving us a bit of insight following the earthquake in Myanmar. We switch gears now. The House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee, PAC, has recovered an additional $14.2 million, that's about 21.4 billion naira in outstanding debt from 4 oil firms, bringing the total recoveries to $33.44 million. That's about 50.1 billion naira. The latest recoveries include $1.9 million from Platform Petroleum Limited, $1.578 million from Midwestern Oil and Gas Limited, $523,845 from Universal Energy, and $10.3 million from Aradel Energy Limited. The PAC chairman, Bamidele Salam, he warned that companies failing to meet financial obligations would face legislative scrutiny. The committee has also directed First E&P Oil Company to reconcile a $90 million balance with the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and giving 4 companies a 20-day ultimatum to pay $23.2 million or face sanctions. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, has expressed confidence in the NCS volleyball team ahead of the 2025 African Women's Club Championship in Abuja. Adeniyi emphasized the team's strong preparation, including a successful training tour. He affirmed that as defending champions of the CGC Volleyball Premier League, the team is determined to excel. The tournament runs from April 1st to 14th at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, with Nigerian Customs aiming to surpass their past performances.
It's not new to us, but we are hosting something of this magnitude for the first time. And there are two sides to this particular event. The hosting type, the hosting part, which you have just seen us putting the facilities ready. But there's also the participation, part of it. We are the defending champions of the Nigerian Premier League Division 1 Championship, and we won it last year. And this is why we're eligible.
And that's all we can take in this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Muslims across Nigeria celebrate Eid al-Fitr for the second day. The People's Democratic Party has accused Rivers sole administrator of dismantling governance structures put in place by suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And we also told you that streets were empty and shops have been closed as Zimbabweans protested President Emerson Mnangagwa's government policies. As always, remember that you can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media and also tag us. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can watch News Central live on channel 422, on GoTV channel 23, we're on DSTV channel 422, or also on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Avo TV and stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV. Bye for now.